If you're living with fibromyalgia, I bet this sounds familiar. You do all the right things. You rest, you try to pace yourself, but that deep down pain and exhaustion just stick around. It's that frustrating feeling, right? That feeling that even though sleep is so important, it's just not the whole story.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It feels like there's something else going on, something invisible that you can't quite put your finger on. Like, if you could just find the right little biological thread to pull, maybe mornings wouldn't feel quite so tough.
So, let's get into it. Today, we're basically going to become detectives. We're going to look past the symptoms on the surface and start investigating what might be happening underneath it all.
Okay, but before we dive in, I have to say this, and it is really important. This is all a summary of research and people's experiences. It is absolutely not medical advice. So please always talk to your own doctor or healthcare provider before you make any changes.
So why isn't rest always the answer? Well, because fibromyalgia is just so complex. It's not just about being tired. Think of it like a big, tangled intersection where your pain signals, your sleep cycle, and your body's basic cellular chemistry all crash into each other. And when some key nutrients are running low, it's like your body can't make the repairs it needs to.
So when we say looking under the hood, what we really mean is putting on your detective hat for your own body. It's about getting curious about the cellular chemistry, the nutritional stuff that could be playing a role in the pain, the fatigue, and the bad sleep. And look, this isn't about finding one single magic blood test that's going to fix everything. It's about realizing that if you're doing all the right things and you're still struggling, maybe it's time to dig a little deeper.
All right, so every good detective story has its suspects, right? In our case, these are some really common nutritional deficiencies that research suggests can play a big role in why these symptoms just won't go away. Let's start building our case files. Okay, here's our lineup. The usual suspects, if you will. Iron, magnesium, vitamin D, and vitamin B12. This is kind of our investigation map. We're going to break down iron, magnesium, and B12 in just a minute, but let's pause on vitamin D for a second, because this one is huge. If you get that deep, achy body pain, that stiffness, or just a low mood you can't seem to shake, that could be a major clue pointing to low vitamin D. It's a massive piece of the pain and mood puzzle, so definitely keep it high on your list.
So, does any of this sound familiar to you? That bone-deep fatigue that no amount of rest can fix. The brain fog that makes everything feel fuzzy, or that weird, antsy, gotta-move-my-legs feeling at night? Well, these clues point us right to our first suspect.
Suspect number 1 is low iron, but even more specifically, low ferritin. Now, here's the thing that gets missed all the time. Ferritin is your body's iron storage protein. Think of it like your body's iron savings account. This is so critical because your main blood count can look totally fine, but if your savings account is empty, you're still going to feel that awful fatigue and get restless legs. That's why asking for the right test is everything. This little script here is a perfect way to start that conversation. Okay, let's check out a different set of clues. You know those random muscle twitches? Or when you sleep for 8 hours but feel like you never really went offline? Or that constant, low-level buzz of anxiety and muscle cramps? This brings us to our second suspect, which is kind of like a soothing balm for the body.
And that suspect is magnesium. A great way to think about magnesium is as the body's off switch. It's literally what helps your muscles relax and tells your nervous system, hey, it's okay, you can calm down now. It helps you switch out of that constant fight-or-flight stress mode. So when you're low, it can totally show up as tight muscles, terrible sleep, and just feeling stressed all the time. And here's a super simple tool. Just keep a jar of pumpkin seeds or almonds on your counter. A handful or two a day is such an easy, gentle way to start topping up your levels.
Okay, now this next one describes a whole different kind of feeling. We're not talking about the deep ache here. This is something sharper, a tingling, a pins and needles sensation, or even a pain that feels kind of sharp and electric. These are major clues pointing to our next suspect. And that suspect is vitamin B12, which is like a superhero for your nerves. When you're deficient, it can directly cause those weird nerve symptoms. But here's the most hopeful part. This is often a treatable piece of that pain puzzle. And once again, asking for the right test is key. This script mentions both serum B12 and something called MMA. That second one is a fantastic follow-up because it can show if your body is actually using the B12 that you have available.
Okay, we've got our lineup of suspects. So what do you do now? How you actually use this information? This next part is your detective kit. It's the practical, real-world tools you need to build your case and have a really good conversation with your doctor. So this can be the hardest part, right? actually talking to your doctor about this stuff. Let's break it down. First, get specific. Showing up with a simple diary of your symptoms for a few weeks is like bringing powerful evidence to the table. Second, use clear scripts like these. It shows you've done your homework. And third, ask about supplements directly. When you do this, you're not just a patient, you're an active partner in figuring this out.
All right, we have to talk about safety for a minute. It is so easy to fall into the trap of thinking, well, if some is good, more must be better, right? But that can actually be a big problem. The best way to do this is to test your levels before you start taking high doses, always talk to your doctor about how they might interact with your other medications, and most importantly, try to figure out the root cause. If a level is low, you want to know why it's low.
So what's the big takeaway here? The most important thing to get is that this is not a one-and-done kind of fix. This is really about adding a whole new layer of investigation to your health journey. It's about starting to connect the dots between the small clues and the big picture of how you feel every day.
And I want to be super clear about this, just to manage expectations. Fibromyalgia is complicated. Fixing one deficiency is probably not going to be a cure. But think of it like finding a really important missing piece of the puzzle. It can lower your overall symptom load and make a huge difference in your quality of life, working together with everything else you're already doing.
And the best part about this stuff, it's also doable. These are the tiny, steady actions that feel possible even on your worst days. A glass of water with lemon can help you absorb iron. A handful of seeds gives you magnesium. A little bit of sunshine helps with vitamin D. It's all about how these little things add up over time.
And that's really what this is all about. It's time to stop searching for one single magic bullet. Instead, this is an invitation to see your body as this incredible connected system, where one small positive tweak over here can actually make a big difference over there.
So let's leave it with this question. After everything we've talked about, just take a second. What's the first small clue your body is sending you? Is it the fatigue that won't quit? The muscle cramps? That tingling feeling? That's your starting point. That's where your investigation begins.